Omagyanatimaridasya Gyananjanashalakaya Shakshuramlitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dandati Swapadantikam Vandeyam Sri Guru Sri Yukta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunastam Bitam Tam Sanjivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Bitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Iti Namini Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Asri Tatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Iti Namini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvase Sashunyavadi Pasachade Satarini Vanchakalpatarabhyascha Kripasindabhyaivacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum lagayate grim Yakri patamahan vande Shri Guru Dina Taranam Paramanam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Akanda Mandalakaram Vyaptayina Characharam Tatpadam Dashitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Narayana Namaskritya Narachaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashtapraya Swabhadresu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So everyone is welcome to today's session. We continue with our discussion on the third canto, chapter 23, entitled Devahuti's Lamentation. And when we're going through the exercise, we reached text 27 yesterday, so we are continuing from text 28, which is the B section of the exercise. The group B section is to draw, give a pictorial description of Devahuti cleansing herself, taking a bath in the Bindu Sarovar lake, where his powerful husband, Kandarva Muni, had created a house underneath the water and had created 1,000 celestial ladies to take care of Devahuti. So the group B was to give us a pictorial representation of these verses. I think from 23 to 37. Then from 39 to 43 is they are traveling all over the whole universe. And that is group C. They're supposed to give us the pictorial representation of the travels of Kadarma Muni and his wife in a 7-story aerial mansion. So we continue from text 28, trying to picture what is going on just before Kadarma Muni takes off from his Bindu Sarovar, where his cottage or his hermitage was located. So preparations are just taking place before they embark on their nuptial flight. Preparations are on their way to usher in their, we can call it the honeymoon, a universal honeymoon. So beginning from text 38, it says, Snanena tam maharena, snapayitwa manashwinim, dukule nrimale nutne, dadur asyai chamana daha. The girls, being very respectful to Devahuti, brought her forth, and after bathing her with valuable oils and ointments, they gave her fine, new, spotless cloth to cover her body. So we can just picture in our minds how the celestial ladies, 1,000 in number, in the underground house in the water, nicely taking care of Devahuti. Actually, Devahuti is a palace girl. His father is the emperor of the world, Swayambhuva Manu. And Devahuti happens to be the daughter. Of course, she wasn't the only daughter. There were 3 of them, Prachuti, Akuti, and Devahuti. They are the 3 daughters of Swayambhuva Manu. And then we have Uttanapad and Priyavrata. They are the 2 sons of Swayambhuva Manu. So, but Devahuti happened to be married to a sage in the forest, a Mahayogi in the forest. So she had to adopt the life of a Mahayogi. So for several years, she neglected the bodily needs. She wasn't eating properly. She wasn't sleeping properly. She wasn't taking care of the body properly. She wasn't even dressing properly until this time. So when she requested for the husband to give her children, the husband had to bring her back to her beautiful form, because if there is no attraction, there cannot be sex life. Attraction is the foundation of sex life. Unless a man is attracted to a woman or a woman is attracted to a man, there is no question of sex life. So therefore, since Devahuti had become emaciated and covered with dirt and was in dreadlocks, matted hair, wearing tree bark, there's no question of attraction. She could not attract the mind of the great yogi, Kadarma Muni. And so Gandharva Muni had to prepare his wife for the request that the wife had made. The wife wanted to have children. And so for children to be produced, the woman had to be attractive in order to attract the mind of the husband. Then copulation will take place. So all this ceremony of, building a house under the water, manifesting the thousands of celestial ladies, was just to enhance the beauty of Devahuti. And so here it is mentioned how they came forward to bathe Devahuti with valuable oils and ointments. And then they gave her a fine new spotless cloth to cover her body. So Gandharva Muni is such a great yogi, I will say, put all our scientists together, they cannot achieve what Gandharva Muni achieved with his mental power, with his yogic perfections. Here he has created a house underwater without, without an architect, without a civil engineer, without going to the market to buy materials, building materials. And then what is more, created 1,000 celestial ladies. That is beyond the scope of our scientists. Well, our scientists can create AI, artificial intelligence. They can create robots, but they are not living beings. They are just machines that are manipulated by human beings. But these 1,000 celestial ladies, they are living beings. They are apsaras. They are beauties from the heavenly planet that were invited to bring back the original beauty of Devahuti. So they're doing their job by bathing her nicely and dressing her very nicely. So we can have a mental picture, a house underwater with 1,000 celestial ladies taking care of Devahuti. Devahuti is seated on some seat, and then these ladies are rubbing her body with special oils and ointments just to give her a good shape, just to bring her back to her original beauty. And then after that, they are dressing her up so that she can become presentable to her great husband, Mahamuni Gandharva Muni. So the next verse, which is 29, says, Bhushanamni Pararabdhyani Viryamsi Dhyumati Chaha Anam Sarva Gunepitam Panam Chaivamritam Savam. Then they decorated her with very excellent and valuable jewels, which shone brightly. Next, they offered her food containing all good qualities and a sweet inebriating drink called Ashavam. So there's a little purport. Prabhupada says, Ashavam is an Ayurvedic medical preparation. It is not a liquid. It is not a liquor. It is especially made from drugs, and it is meant to improve metabolism for the healthy condition of the body. So we remember how Devahuti became emaciated. She became dried, skinny, because of the austerities she had to go through in the forest with the husband. So now that she has requested for the husband to give her children, she has to improve in order to attract the attention of the husband. And so the celestial ladies, they know the art of beautifying a woman. And that is the reason why Kadaraba Muni created them. So after dressing, bathing her, dressing her nicely, now they're offering her special meals, special preparations that will improve her health and eventually improve her form. So in text 30, it says, Atardashe swam admanam shragwinam virajabaram virajam kritas swastias yanam kanyambir bahu manitam. Translation, then in the mirror, she beheld her own reflection. Her body was completely freed from all debt, and she was adorned with a garland. Hare Krishna, Mr. Ashok, I'm in a class. I will call you back as soon as I finish.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So it says, dressed in unsullied robes and decorated with auspicious marks of tilak, she was served very respectfully by the maids. So Devahuti, she's finished bathing, she's finished dressing, she's eating some preparation to bring back her health. And now there is a mirror before her, so that she could see her own self, and she could see her own reflection. So her body was completely free from all debt, and she was adorned with a garland, dressed in unsullied robes, and decorated with auspicious marks of tilak. She was served very respectfully by the maids. So the whole idea is to bring her back to her days, to her beautiful form, so that she may be able to attract the husband for sex life. So here the text 31 says, Snatam krita sira snanam sarvabhramna bhushitam nishkagrivam valayinam kunjat kanchana nurpuram. Translation, her entire body, including her head, was completely bathed, and she was decorated all over with ornaments. She wore a special necklace with a locket. There were bangles on her wrists and tinkling anklets of gold about her ankles. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the word Krita Sira Snanam appears here. According to the Smriti Shastras, that is directions for daily duties, ladies are allowed to bathe daily up to the neck. The hair on the head does not necessarily have to be washed daily, because the mass of wet hair may cause a cold. For ladies, therefore, taking a bath up to the neck is ordinarily prescribed, and they take a full bath only on a certain occasions. On this occasion, Devahuti took a full bath and washed her hair very nicely. When a lady takes an ordinary bath, it is called malasnana. And when she takes a full bath, including the head, it is called shira snana. At this time, she needs sufficient oil to smear on her head. That is the direction of the commentators of Smriti Shastra. So the female body is different from the male body. That is the arrangement of nature. That is the law of God, that the female body must be different from the male body. And so females, they grow a lot of hair. Men don't grow that amount of hair. Naturally, every female has very long hair because it is part of the design to make them attractive in order to bring about procreation, bring about continuity or perpetuation of the species, of the human race. So as part of the equipment for the woman to attract the man, she is given long hair, beautiful body, beautiful face, beautiful eyes, beautiful nose. Everything about the female body is attractive, just to attract the male for the purpose of procreation, because now it has been misused. And of course, the scientists are also trying to bring about this, what they call it, gender transformation. They are converting women into men and converting women into men by, transferring the gender, sex organs. They transfer the male sex organs to a woman and transfer the female sex organs to a man, and then they inject them with some hormones to allow particular hormones to produce in a woman who is now a man and the man who is now a woman. Even the hormones that are within our body are different. A woman has a different types of hormones that allow her to grow breasts, that allow her to menstruate, that allow her to do many things that a man does not have to do. That is a natural arrangement. But our demonic scientists, they are trying to work against nature. They are trying to say what God did is not good. So they are changing things, but they cannot change these things completely. A man who has been converted into a woman cannot menstruate, and therefore she cannot be pregnant. So it's a dream. It's funny. They say they are doing transgender, but a man who has been converted into a woman cannot menstruate, and therefore she cannot get pregnant, and therefore she cannot produce a child. So the whole purpose is defeated. It's just a mental concoction. And a woman who is converted into a man, he still has the woman traits. The hormones within her cannot change. And many things cannot change in her. They can't change because it is a genetical arrangement. But these demonic scientists, they are just trying every way to oppose the creation of God. And they think they're making progress. So here it is mentioned that because the women have a lot of hair, they are not allowed to, according to Smriti Shastra, they are not allowed to bathe or wash their hair every day. if they do that every day, they will catch cold. So women, they bath up to the head, to the neck, actually, up to the neck. They don't pour water on their head every day. Once in a while, they take time and they wash their hair. They apply oil. They do many things once in a while, maybe once a month, like that. But the rest of the time, they take their bath up to the neck. It is not compulsory for them to put water on their hair every day. Otherwise, it will make them sick. So here he said that there are two types of baths. One is called malasnana. When a lady takes an ordinary bath, it is called malasnana. And when she takes a full bath, it is called shira snana. So the daily bath is the malasnana, and then they once a while she takes a full bath, including the head, and that is called shira snana. Shira means head, actually. So head bath. So, and at this time, she has to use a lot of oil on the head to create heat and to also, allow the hair to be, be improved. When you apply oil to the hair, they become nourished, they become attractive, they become, what do they call? When you put oil in the hair, they take the oil, they look glossy, they look nice, they look attractive. So once in a while, the woman puts oil in the head when she does this shira snana. So all this is happening to Devahuti with the assistance of the 1,000 celestial ladies that have been created by the yogic powers of Kadarma Muni. So text 32, somebody like to read text 32? Somebody want to try text 32?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any of you can start. Yeah.
Shirayam Adyasya Tasya Kanchayagahu Rasnaya Arinacha Maharihena Rukakinacha Usitam. Translation. After her hips, she wore a girdle of gold, set with numerous jewels, and she was further adorned with a precious pearl necklace and auspicious substances.
Yeah, thank you. So the small purport I can read.
The purport?
Yeah, I'll read.
Okay.
Auspicious substances include saffron, kumkuma, and sandalwood pulp. Before taking a bath, there are other auspicious substances, such as turmeric mixed with mustard seed oil, which are spread all over the body. All kinds of special substances are used to bathe the Devahuti from top to toe. So, many other auspicious items are used for the bathing of Devahuti. And before taking a bath, there are other auspicious substances such as turmeric mixed with mustard seed oil, which is all over the body. All kinds of auspicious substances were used to bathe Devahuti from top to toe. Some noise is coming from somewhere. So turmeric mixed with mustard seed oil is considered an auspicious item. And so before taking the bath, one is supposed to smear this turmeric mixed with this mustard seed oil and rub over the whole body for some time. It improves the skin, it improves health. Mustard oil is a health oil. It facilitates many things on the skin. It is also used for massage. Turmeric is a very wonderful spice, and that is why it is included in our food every day. It is antiseptic. It does not allow germs to grow, bacteria to grow. So when it is mixed with mustard oil, it even becomes much more powerful for smearing on the body, for massage. And so that was done for Devahuti before the actual bath. So text 33. Somebody like to read 33?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, go ahead.
Sudacha Subhruva Sroksina Snidapan Gira Chakshusha Adam Susa Kusa Pidanitlai Allah Kasha Kusam Bukam. Translation: her countenance shine with beautiful teeth and charming eyebrow. Her eyes, distinguished by lovely most corners, defeated the beauty of lotus bone. Her face was surrounded by dark, corning trees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So her countenance shone with beautiful teeth and charming eyebrows. Her eyes distinguished by lovely, moist corners, defeated the beauty of lotus buds. Her face was surrounded by dark, curling tresses. So the Prabhupada says, according to Vedic culture, white teeth are very much appreciated. Devahuti's white teeth increased the beauty of her face and made it look like a lotus flower. When a face looks very attractive, the eyes are generally compared to lotus petals and the face to a lotus flower. So the beauty of Devahuti is being described here. A glimpse of the beauty of Devahuti is given here. If you remember, when Swayambhuva Manu brought his daughter to the husband, Kandarma Muni, and offered her to Kandarma Muni for marriage, and was kind of elogizing the qualities of Devahuti, then Kandarma Muni himself also made a statement regarding the demigod Vishwavasu. Yeah, Vishwavasu was flying in his aircraft over the palace of Kandarma Muni, of Swayambhuva Manu. Yeah. And at that time, Devahuti was playing with a ball on the roof of the palace. And when Vishwavasu saw the beauty of Kandarma Muni, he lost control and he fell out of his plane. There was an accident. There was a plane crash. because Vishwavasu became attracted to the beauty of Devahuti, and as a young girl. So the beauty of Devahuti is unparalleled. It's outstanding. But because she was living in the forest, adopting the life of her yogi, her beauty was diminished. But now it is being recovered. So here it is mentioned that her countenance, her face, shone with beautiful teeth and charming eyebrows. Her eyes, distinguished by lovely moist corners, defeated the beauty of lotus buds. I mean, her eyes were so beautiful that they defeated the lotus buds. And her face was surrounded by dark curling tresses. That means dark curly hairs. So this is just a glimpse of the beauty of Devahuti. She was such a beautiful woman that the demigods were attracted. Yeah. So her beauty is exceptional. But because of the austerities, because she had to follow the footsteps of her husband, she gave up all that. She became emaciated. She lost her beauty. She was now a forest girl, a yogini, and so with matted hair, with tree bark as dress, eating fruits and leaves, roots and leaves and fruits. And so she became emaciated. But now she's been brought back to her original days, to her original beauty. And so here, her beauty is being described to be as attractive as the petals of the lotus. 34. Somebody wants to read 34?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Yeah. Yada sasmara prishabam rishi nabdayitam patim tatra chaste sahastribhir yatraste sa prajapatihi. When she thought of her great husband, the best of the sages, Kardama Muni, who was very dear to her, she, along with all the maidservants, at once appeared where he was.
Thank you. So here, the purpose of Papa writes, it appears from this verse that in the beginning, Devahuti thought herself to be dirty and dressed in a very niggardly way. When her husband asked her to enter the lake, she saw the maidservants and they took care of her. Everything was done within the water. And as soon as she thought of her beloved husband, Kandarma, she was brought before him without delay. These are some of the powers attained by perfect yogis. They can immediately execute anything they desire. So all along, Devahuti is being taken care by the celestial ladies within the water, within the house in the water. And when she was properly taken care of, when she was freed of all the debt, and when she had recovered from the austerities she had performed that resulted in her emancipation, when she was back to form, her natural form, her original form, and she saw herself in the mirror, how beautiful she was looking, how wonderful she had appeared. Naturally, she thought of the husband. Now it is time for my husband to see me because I was niggardly dressed. I was looking very dirty. I was not presentable to my husband. So my husband wasn't attracted. But now I think I am in the best form. Let my husband see me. And as soon as he thought like this, Kandarma Muni was already waiting. He was eager to see her beautiful wife, his beautiful wife. She was already waiting. So as soon as that thought came up in the mind of Devahuti, Kandarma Muni brought her with the 1,000 ladies right in front of himself. So Prabhupada is mentioning here that some of these powers attained by the perfect yogis are wonderful. They can execute anything immediately. So Devahuti is just witnessing the powers of his great husband yogi, or great yogi husband, because he has demonstrated these things now. He has built this 7-story aerial mansion stationed in the air. He has manifested this building within the water, and he has manifested the 1,000 celestial ladies to take care of her. And now they have enhanced her beauty. They have brought her back to her original form. And she thought, let my husband see me in this my wonderful form. And instantly, she was brought along with the celestial ladies before the presence of the husband. That is the power of yoga siddhis. And once who has these yoga siddhis, he's greater than all the scientists put together. Science, they take a long, long time to discover some laws. And they take a long, long time to create an object, a gadget. It takes them years. But for a yogi, instantly, as he desires, he can create anything as he desires. If the scientists were to build this 7-story aerial mansion, it would have taken them many, many years to figure out how to build a building in the space, build a house in the air. Maybe it's impossible for them to even do it, to build a house in the air. We have not seen such things. It's stationed in one place. But Kandarma Muni just did it in 1 second. So the yogis who have attained perfection in the mystical feats, they are much superior to our scientists. That is a fact. And that is being demonstrated here by Kandarma Muni. Text 35.
Okay, I can try that.
Okay, Prabhu, go ahead.
Okay, only the translation.
You can read the Sanskrit if you can. Yeah, if you cannot, then you can read the translation.
Bhartum pura saratmanam strisas strasa astra vitam tada nisam yatad yoga agatim samsayam pratyapadyata. She was amazed to find herself surrounded by 1,000 maids in the presence of her husband and to witness his yogic power.
So Prabhupada gave a small purport. Devahuti saw everything miraculously done. Yet, when brought before her husband, she could understand that it was all due to his great yogic mystic power. She understood that nothing was impossible for a yogi like Kandarma Muni. Yeah, so this is amazing. Even Devahuti herself, she was surprised with the events that she was just witnessing. She must be wondering what is going on here. All of a sudden she finds herself underwater in a house surrounded by 1,000 maidservants, celestial maidservants. And then in a matter of seconds, she was transformed into a beautiful woman. And then in a matter of seconds, she was brought along with 1,000 ladies before the husband. And then when she looked up, there was this 7-story aerial mansion waiting for her to mount. You can, your guess is as good as mine. Devahuti must be surprised. Devahuti must be wondering. She must be in a wonderland. What is this? But that is the power of yoga. Mysticism, yogic powers are amazing. Prabhupada said they can achieve unimaginable feats. Unimaginable feats. So a yogi is great. It's great. Actually, I think somewhere Krishna is telling Arjuna, you must become a jnani, and even greater than a jnani, you must be a yogi. Krishna is telling Arjuna like that. You have to be a yogi. A yogi, of course, Krishna wasn't asking Arjuna to become a mystic yogi. He wanted him to become a bhakti yogi. A bhakti yogi is a devotee of the Lord. A bhakti yogi may not necessarily have these powers, but a bhakti yogi is even greater than these mystic yogis, because the bhakti yogi has Krishna on his side. Because of his love for Krishna, Krishna is always ready to do anything for his devotees. And therefore, since Krishna is Yogeshwara, the master of all mystics, or master of all mysticism, therefore the devotee can be and Krishna can support a devotee anywhere. Krishna can manifest anything for a devotee at any time. So Krishna is superior to all the yogis, and a devotee purchases Krishna by his love, by his devotion, and therefore the devotee is even greater than all these mystic yogis. That is a fact. When the greatest of yogis, Durvasa Muni is one of the great yogis in the universe. He has such power. He can create. He can do anything. But when he offended Ambarish Maharaj, thinking that Ambarish Maharaj was just a common king, what powers does he have? What can he do to me? That's how Durvasa Muni was thinking. This ordinary king, who is he? I'm a yogi. I'm a great yogi. I can deal with him. And in fact, he said he pulled out one hair from his head and he banged it on the ground. And from that hair, a very great demon was created. And that demon was to kill the king. That is the power of the yogi. But Ambarish Maharaj was just standing there humbly praying to Krishna. He was not even bothered about the great demon that Durvasa Muni had created. And Krishna took care of it. Immediately, Krishna released his Sudarshan Chakra. And the Sudarshan Chakra chopped up the head of the demon, killed the demon instantly, and started moving towards Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni was shocked. What is this? My demon I've created has been killed by the Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord and is now coming after me. He began to run. But the Sudarshan Chakra did not leave Durvasa Muni. He chased him, burning his back, producing a lot of heat, just warning Durvasa Muni, you better hurry up, find a solution, or I melt you up. So Durvasa Muni ran everywhere in the universe. He couldn't get protection. He eventually had to go to Vaikuntha, to Lord Narayan, to beg, please withdraw this, your hot Sudarshan chakra is burning my back. And the Lord said, well, once this Sudarshan has been released to protect my devotee, I don't have the power to call it back. The only solution is you better go back to that devotee and beg for forgiveness. If he forgives you, that is the only power that can stop the Sudarshan chakra from chasing you. So with the speed of the mind, Durvasa Muni had to return from the spiritual sky, from Vaikuntha Loka to Ambarish's palace, and fell at his feet and was offering prayers and begging, please, my dear king, I underestimated your power. Please forgive me. I'm a great offender. But Ambarish Maharaj was so kind, which is the normal disposition of a devotee. He simply picked up Durvasa Muni and embraced him. And as soon as the king embraced Durvasa Muni, the Sudarshan chakra disappeared. And Durvasa Muni learned his lesson, that he should not display his yogic powers before a devotee. So the Lord allowed this pastime to take place so that the world can learn that a devotee is much more powerful than the greatest of yogis with all his mystical powers. So it is also reported in the 9th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. As you study the Bhagavatam, you come across this pastime, especially if you do Bhakti Vedanta. So in Bhakti Vaibhava, you go to Bhakti Vedanta, and you come across this very interesting story, pastime. So Devahuti saw everything miraculously done. Yet when brought before her husband, she could understand that it was all due to his great yogic mystic power. Text 36 and 37 says, Satam krita malasnanam vibrajantim apurvavat admano vibratim rupam samvita ruchira stanim vidyadari sahasrina sevya manam suvasasam jata bhavo vimana tat arohayat amritraham. Translation, the sage could see that Devahuti had washed herself clean and was shining forth as though no longer his former wife. She had regained her own original beauty as the daughter of a prince. Dressed in excellent robes, her charming breasts duly girded, she was waited upon by 1,000 Gandharva girls. O destroyer of the enemy, his fondness for her grew, and he placed her on the aerial mansion. And the Purport Prabhupada writes, before her marriage, Devahuti was brought by her parents before the sage Kadarma. She was the perfectly beautiful princess, and Kadarma Muni remembered her former beauty. But after her marriage, when she was engaged in the service of Kadarma Muni, she neglected to care for her body like a princess, since there was no means for such care. Her husband was living in a cottage, and she was always engaged in serving him. Her royal beauty disappeared, and she became just like an ordinary maidservant. Now, after being bathed by the Gandharva girls by the order of Kadarma Muni's yogic power, she regained her beauty. And Kadarma Muni felt attracted to the beauty she had shown before the marriage. The real beauty of a young woman is her breast. When Kadarma Muni saw the breasts of his wife so nicely decorated, increasing her beauty many times, he was attracted, even though he was a great sage. Srivas Sankaracharya has therefore warned the transcendentalists, the one who is after transcendental realization should not be attracted by the raised breasts of a woman, because they are nothing but an interaction of fat and blood within the body. Well, yeah, that is the attraction. That is it's like it's they are in front to attract the attention. The face of a girl, her breasts, and her waist. These are the three areas that attracts man's attention. Her eyebrows, her beautiful eyes, her breasts, and her waist. They are the centers of attraction for a man. And here, particularly, Srivas Sankaracharya is saying that a transcendentalist should not pay attention to the breasts, to the raised breasts of a woman, because they are nothing but just a lump of flesh or fat with blood flowing through them. That is the picture one should have. It is said that any time we are attracted to the breast of a woman, or even the face of a woman, or her waist, one should just remember these are all lump of flesh with blood flowing through. That's all. Nothing more than that. And so if we hold that vision in our minds, we will not be drawn, because these things, they draw our attention, they draw our minds, and then one becomes attracted, more attracted, and before one realizes, it's falling down. Yeah, so therefore, the acharyas say actually that anytime you see the two breasts of a woman, you should remember two things. That the two breasts represent envy and what? The two breasts of a woman represents envy and jealousy, I think. Envy and jealousy. Because let me just confirm. Let me just confirm. The two breasts of a woman two breasts of a woman search.
Is it not pride?
It represents what? I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I know one is envy, the other one is
It's not
attachment. Yes. This is found in the 4th canto, 25th chapter, verse 24. The two breasts represents attachment and envy. Attachment and envy. So anytime we see the two breasts of a woman, we should remember this is attachment and envy. So, and we don't want attachment, we don't want envy. So therefore, we stay away from it, because if we get attracted, it means we are embracing attachment, and envy. Anyway, yes. Somebody is saying something. Anyway, it's a natural empowerment for women to attract the opposite sex. So here, Kadarma Muni, who had been a great yogi, not even seeing his wife because he was engaged in great austerities. But now he has become attracted to the two breasts of the wife. And so that is the beginning of procreation. The wife is demanding or requesting to have children. And for children to take place, there must be procreation. I mean, there must be copulation. And for copulation to take place, the woman must be attractive. So therefore, Kadarma Muni has made all the arrangements for the woman to recover her original beauty. And once she has recovered her original beauty, she has become attractive to the husband. So we will now see what happens thereafter. Once the attraction has taken place, that is the moment. That is the moment a woman is actually anticipating. Every woman is anticipating that moment someone will become attracted to me. That moment I can be able to pull somebody towards me. And so Devahuti has reached that moment when he's able to attract the attention of the husband, because that attraction will now lead to copulation, and copulation will lead to pregnancy, and pregnancy will lead to offspring. And that is her desire. And of course, that's the desire of every woman to have children. So nature equips them with these objects called breasts, beautiful face, a nice back, so that she can attract the man, and then she can get her children. So let's see what happened next in 38. 38, it says, Tasmin alupta mahima priyaya murakto nurakto vidya dharibir upachirna vapur vimane babraja utkacha kumut kavam apichas tarabi avrita ivodu patir nabhastaha. Though seemingly attached to his beloved consort, while served by the Gandhara girls, the Sikh did not lose his glory, which was mastery over his self. In the aerial mansion, Kadarma Muni with his consort shone as charmingly as the moon in the midst of the stars in the sky, which causes rows of lilies to open in ponds at night. The purport, the mansion was in the sky, and therefore the comparison to the full moon and stars is very beautifully composed in this verse. Kadarma Muni looked like the full moon, and the girls who surrounded his wife, Devahuti, seemed just like the stars. On a full moon night, the stars and the moon together form a beautiful constellation. Similarly, in that aerial mansion in the sky, Kadarma Muni with his beautiful wife and the damsels surrounding them appear like the moon and stars on a full moon night. So this is a poetic presentation in this verse. In the full moon night, when the moon is very bright, Purnima, one can see the brightest of stars also around the moon. Because when there's no moon at all and the night is dark, then you can see many, many stars. Even the tiny, tiny ones can also be seen. But when the moon is very bright, full moon, then some of the stars that are so far away, they cannot be seen because of the brightness of the moon. Nevertheless, the nearer stars or the nearer planets, they surround the moon. So here, Kadarma Muni and his wife being surrounded by the 1,000 celestial ladies is compared to the full moon surrounded by the stars, and the stars are the celestial ladies, and the Kadarvamuni and his wife, they constitute the full moon. So they're ready to take off. The flight to the different parts of the universe is about to take off. Kadarvamuni has set a scene for a honeymoon. I call this the universal honeymoon. A universal honeymoon. People talk about honeymoon, but we cannot compare the honeymoon of Kadarvamuni with any type of honeymoon we can think of on this planet. Kadarvamuni created a 7-story aerial mansion. In that story, he was flying around the whole universe with 1,000 celestial ladies to serve them. And they went from planet to planet, from location to location throughout the universe. For many years, they were traveling. That is an amazing honeymoon, an amazing nuptial flight that we can think of. So, so the next verses from 39 to 43 or so is the different places they visited. And so I will hand over that to Ketu Putra. We ask him to go through those verses and create a mental picture and share with us. So is Chitra Putra Prabhu here? Is he ready with his presentation of the places visited by Kadarvamuni and his wife? Yes, you are ready?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
So we are now your students. So give us your presentation.
Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hi, all glories to God.
Oh, good. I accept my humble obeisances, other devotees, Hare Krishna. So it is not easy to bring this one into picture. However, we have tried this more using the assistance of our computer and others. So I will share it on the WhatsApp so that I'll share it into the link so that everybody sees it.
I see. Well,
yeah.
You want to share it on the screen? Do you have it in a soft copy?
I don't.
No, you don't have a soft copy.
I have a soft copy on the phone. So
maybe you share it, or maybe I can try to see if I can. I'm using a phone and there's no power in my system. So, well, you can share it to the group. I'll try to see if I can put it on the screen.
Yeah, let me share it to the group so that you put it there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, please, I've shared it into the group. So
wow.
You find 3 pictures.
Yeah, they're not ordinary pictures.
Three pictures over there. One is a picture of the mountain Meru and the valleys and the beautiful aspect of it. And one is Kubera surrounded by the cedar. That is the last part. The one actually, the first one is Kadamba Muni and the wife inside the mansion that he has created with the other maidens surrounded there. Then we go to the picture of the environment of the Mountain Merus and the valleys inside over there. And the third one, which is Kuvera, who is also being surrounded by the other maidens and the cedars being praising him or worshiping him or so, something like that. So we have 3 pictures over there in a cartoonic distance used by computer distance softwares and others. So it has not been easy, but that is what I can do. I don't know whether my colleague, yes, this one is the Mountain Meru. You can see the Mountain Meru and the valleys over there beautifully. Yes, over there, yes. And the waterfalls, yes, that's a picture in a cartoonic way. Yes, that is the Mountain Meru.
Okay.
And this one is a Kuvera, surrounded by the beautiful woman and being praised by the cedars. Yes, so that is that one. Yeah.
Okay.
And this one is the mansion, which has been just a typical mansion, which has been created by Kadamba Muni, and the wife, Devauti, is inside, and Kadamba Muni is standing behind her, and other maidens taking through the journeys through the universes. So the sky. So that is a typical geographical draw by this thing. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So that is a good attempt. It's a good attempt to use the internet and the computers to create this pictorial presentation. Of course, we generally in the classroom setting, we give time for students to make sketches. We give them papers, we give them large drawing sheets in the classroom. We provide them with different colors of markers, and then we group the students into the 3 groups, and then we give them time, 10 minutes or so. They go to different places, part of the classroom. They may even go out of the classroom, and they will go and discuss it, and they will create the picture, and then they will come back after the time elapses. Then they will make their presentation. It's always very interesting to see the imagination of the students. This is just to test our imagination, picturing what is going on and translating that into a picture. So, but you tried by the computer method, but it would have been better if you had sketched it with your own hand, because once you sketch with your own hand, it goes through your brain, it goes through your system, and it creates a stronger picture. Because this also, you have to search for suitable pictures to copy it and paste it like that. But generally, the exercise is done by actually drawing on the card. We give them very large plain sheets, then they draw it and they paste it on the board, and then they make their presentation. But we appreciate the effort that you put in to get these pictures to to present, but it would have been better if you had sketched it with your own hand and use some different colors, markers to show.
Yeah.
Things, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Actually, yesterday the time, and because I was not aware of that assignment too, I didn't attend class last time, so that is why I have to do a quick with the.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Yeah, besides, you may not have the large sheets as we provide in the classroom. You may not have the markers, and we have different colors, markers. It's a whole, there's provision for it. And so the students don't have any difficulty. And you just give them the papers, give them the markers, and they just go to their corner and they put their heads together and they come out with a picture. So, but it's very interesting when it is done that way, because it gives you cannot forget the scene when you have done it. Yeah, when you draw it, you can't forget it. Like
yes.
Anyway, so thank you. So we can.
But Maharaj, I don't know whether my colleague Jyoti Swarup, he has something also to add. I don't know.
Okay, all right, he's here. Let's ask him if he's still here. Jyoti Swarup, do you have anything in addition to this?
Jyoti Swarup is no more here.
He has left.
Yes.
I see. Okay, sorry.
All right, so what we shall do is that we just read through the verses, and then we try to complete this chapter today, definitely. So 39, it says, in that aerial mansion, he traveled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Smeru. Okay, let's read the Sanskrit. Tenasta lokapa vihara kulachale draha drunasyu anangam saka maruta show bagasu sidai nuto diuduni pata siva swanasu re mekiram dananda valalana varuti. In that aerial mansion, he traveled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, which were rendered all the more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breezes that stimulated passion. In these valleys, the treasurer of the gods, Kuvera, surrounded by beautiful women and praised by the Siddhas, generally enjoys pleasure. Kadaramuni also, surrounded by the beautiful damsels, and his wife went there and enjoyed for many, many years. So in the proportion of Prabhupada writes, Kuvera is one of the 8 demigods who are in charge of different directions of the universe. They are called Lokapalas, the 8 governors of the universe. Kuvera is one of those governors. It is said that Indra is in charge of the eastern side of the universe, where the heavenly planet or paradise is situated. Similarly, Agni is in charge of the southern portion of the universe. Yama, the demigod who punishes sinners, is in charge of the southern portion. Okay, Agni is in charge of the southeastern portion of the universe. Yama, the demigod who punishes sinners, is in charge of the southern portion. Nriti is in charge of the southwestern part of the universe. Varuna, the demigod in charge of the waters, is in charge of the western portion. Vayu, who controls the air and who has wings to travel in the air, is in charge of the northwestern part of the universe. And Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods, is in charge of the northern part of the universe. All these demigods take pleasure in the valleys of Mount Smeru, which is situated somewhere between the sun and the earth. In the aerial mansion, Kadarma Muni traveled throughout the 8 directions controlled by the different demigods described above. And as the demigods go to Mount Meru, he also went there to enjoy life. When one is surrounded by beautiful young girls, sex stimulation naturally becomes prominent. Kadarma Muni was sexually stimulated, and he enjoyed his wife for many, many years in that part of Mount Meru. But his sex indulgence was praised by many, many siddhas, beings who have attained perfection, because it was intended to produce good progeny for the good of universal affairs. So obviously, the hermitage is not the best place for sex life, because it's a place of austerity. And therefore, once Devahuti has taken back a form, her original beauty has been restored, they had to leave that place and go to environments that stimulate sex life. And there is no better place than this Mount Meru, the valleys in Mount Meru, where there is a gentle breeze, fragrant breezes, and they stimulate passion. And then in the midst of many, many ladies, Kadara Muni's passions were awakened. And so for many years, he engaged in copulation or sex life with his wife. But here it is said that because that sex life was meant to increase the population of the universe, he was appreciated. His sex life was appreciated because it was done as a service. It was not done as, just for pleasure, which is the common thing today. Today, sex is seen as a source of pleasure. People engage in sex life not for the purpose of procreation, but just for the purpose of pleasure. But in the case of Kadarama Muni, he was a great yogi. He had actually transcended this sexual attraction, but because he was ordered by Brahma to procreate, he was a Prajapati, he had to engage in sex life. And so his sex life is considered service to the order of Brahma. It's considered service because he had to procreate. And so even siddhas, they appreciated his sex life. So similarly, when we engage in sex life to create, nice children, devotee children, Krishna conscious children, that sex life is appreciated even by siddhas. People have attained perfection because they know that by that sex life, you're attracting very exalted souls into the world who would promote Krishna consciousness. So such sex life is needed. So some other thing I just wanted to share is that, you see, here the directions of the principal, what they call the local palace, the guidance of the various directions, beginning with Indra. Indra is in charge of the eastern side of the universe. Then Agni is in charge of the southeastern portion of the universe. Yamaraj in charge of the southern portion of the universe. Nriti in charge of the southwestern part of the universe. Varuna, the demigod in charge of the waters, is in charge of the western portion of the universe. Vayu, who controls the air and who has wings to travel in the air, is in charge of the northwestern part of the universe. And Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods, is in charge of the northern part of the universe. So these 8, and these are 10 actually. 10. Is it 8 or 10? 8. Okay, we also have up and down. So, but there are 8 here. So these 8 directions, they have something to do with our life, especially our living place. When a house is designed, it has to take into consideration these directions. And that is the Vedic architecture. Vedic architecture takes into consideration these 8 directions. In our modern architecture, they don't consider these things. But in Vedic architecture, they are very important, because the living place where we live, if it's not designed to suit these directions, you cannot live in that place peacefully. For instance, Agni is in charge of southeastern corner of the universe. So that means when you are designing your house, the kitchen must be in the southeastern corner of the house, because kitchen means fire. So you have to put fire where it belongs. It is also said that anything connected with electricity, like your power board, your connection board, your main switch, all should all be in the southeastern corner of the house, because they're all fire, they're fire related. Then your toilets and soccerways, they have to be located in the southwestern part of the building, where there is Nriti. Nriti is like the demigod in charge of death. So the southwestern part of the building, that is where you should have your soccerway. That is where all the toilets should go, because those things are dirty things that should go to that place. Then we have Varuna. Varuna is in charge of waters. So the western portion of the house, one can have a water fountain. A water fountain, because Varuna is there. Then the northwestern part of the house is controlled by Vayu. Vayu is always in motion. He's always on the move. He has wings and he flies. So the northwestern part of the house should be the guest room, because nobody wants guests to stay there for long. When the guests stay for long, they increase your expenditure. So therefore, when you are designing your house, your guest room should be in the northwestern corner, so the guests, they come and they go very quickly. Okay? And then the northern section is your wealth section. So in the northern section of the house, you should not have a toilet, you should not have a soccerway, you should not have anything that will obstruct your wealth. People go dig their soccerway in the northern section, they put the toilet in the northern section, and then plenty of poverty comes and they don't know where it's coming from, because they are block covera. And then the eastern section, where Indra occupies, is said to be the place of worship. So there also, there shouldn't be any dirty thing like a soccerway or toilet or anything like that.
But
So
I didn't get this, that the last direction, I didn't get it. Probably, Maharaj, please come again.
So I'm giving free consultancy.
Yes,
bro.
Maharaj.
Yes.
The last one, I didn't get it, the one of Indra.
Indra is in charge of the eastern direction of the universe, and it's a place of worship.
Okay.
And that is
okay.
why it is said the temple, the altar should face the east. Actually, the proper direction for the deities to face the east, the altar should face the east if it is possible, because that direction is the direction for worship. So this is not part of your Bhagavatam class.
Yes.
This is architecture. This is
Yes.
No, Maharaj is part of Bhagavatam, Maharaj, because in Bhagavatam there's all these things inside also.
And yeah, I
We have,
agree. I agree. It's mentioned. It's mentioned in the purpose.
You have all these things.
Yeah, they're there. But what I'm saying is that it is not part of this particular verse. I mean,
Yes, not this
mentioned.
particular class.
I'm just sharing so that
Yes, by giving us mercy.
I'm just sharing. So that is that. Those who are interested in this is called Vastu, or some say Vasu, but it's Vastu. This is Vastu in the Vedic architecture. According to Vastu means a living place where we live. It must be in conformity with the natural arrangement. Otherwise, we may build a very beautiful house and we may not feel very happy in that house. Anyway, so we move on to text 40. 40 says, Vishrambake surasane nandane pushpa bhagdrake manasse chaitrarati echa sarime ramaya rataha. Satisfied by his wife, he enjoyed in that aerial mansion not only on Mount Meru, but in different gardens known as Vaishrambaka, Surasana, Nandana, Pushpa Bhadraka, Chaitraratya, and also by the Manasa Sarovar Lake. So these are spots. They're like tourist centers for the demigods. The demigods, they go to they visit these places in the association of their apsaras, and they enjoy in these gardens unlimitedly. So Akadharma Muni, because he's a great yogi, and he can create such an aerial mansion, he could travel to all these places. He visited all these places with his wife in the association of the celestial ladies. So I always describe it as the best honeymoon, the best universal honeymoon, because Kadara Muni was able to visit all these wonderful places with his wife, and they enjoyed for many, many years. In text 41, it says, Brajishnuna vimanena karmajena mahis yasaha vaimanikam atyasita charanlokam yata nilaha. He traveled in that way through the various planets as the air passes uncontrolled in every direction, causing through the air in that great and splendid aerial mansion, which could fly at his will. He surpassed even the demigods. Kadharma Muni even surpassed the demigods. In the Proportional Prabhupada writes, the planets occupied by the demigods are restricted to their own orbits. But Kadharma Muni, by his yogic power, could travel all over the different directions of the universe without restriction. The living entities who are within the universe are called conditioned souls. That is, they are not free to move everywhere. We are inhabitants of this earthly globe. We cannot move freely to other planets. In the modern age, man is trying to go to other planets, but so far he has been unsuccessful. It is not possible to travel to any other planet because by the laws of nature, even the demigods cannot move from one planet to another. But Kadharma Muni, by his yogic power, could surpass the strength of the demigods and travel in space in all directions. The comparison here is very suitable The words yata and ila indicate that as the air is free to move anywhere without restriction. So Kadarma Muni unrestrictedly traveled in all directions of the universe. So the yogic perfection of Kadarma Muni is really very great here. Now he surpassed the demigods. Due to his yogic perfection, he surpassed the demigods. The demigods, they have some limitations, but Kadarma Muni had no limitations. He could go to any of these places at his own will, which means that through the yogic powers, Kadarma Muni had acquired so much power, mystic power, that he could go anywhere. He was as free as the air. He was as free as the wind. So here is a yata anila, indicates that the air is free to move anywhere without restriction. So Kadarma Muni acquired that position by virtue of his yogic powers. So sometimes the Prabhupada would say that in our modern age, people are claiming to be yogis, but can they compare their yogi power to Kadarma Muni? If anybody is claiming that he's a yogi, then he should demonstrate his yogic powers as they have been demonstrated here by Kadarma Muni. So therefore, in Kali Yoga, people are just doing what is called asana yoga, exercises just to maintain the body. It is not actually yoga, but people are so easily deceived when they just go and do some little exercises, do some little breathing exercises. They feel very great. Now we have become yogis. We have performed yoga, but the real yoga, as demonstrated by Kadarma Muni, is far beyond. It makes the practitioner even superior to the demigods. That is being said here. So to practice yoga is not a joke. It's not just asanas or some few moments of breathing exercises, and then one calls himself a great yogi. No, you must achieve yogic perfections. And when you have these perfections, you can do the impossible. You can do the impossible. So I think the text 42. 42. Yeah, 42 says, Kimdura padanam tesham pumsham odama chetasam yair asritas tirtapadas charano vyasanatyaya. What is difficult to achieve for determined men who have taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet? His feet are the source of sacred rivers like the Ganges, which put an end to the dangers of mundane life. So the words Yai Asritas Tada Padas Charana are significant here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Tirthapada. The Ganges is called a sacred river because it emanates from the toe of Vishnu. The Ganges is meant to eradicate all the material distresses of the conditioned soul. Therefore, nothing is impossible for any living entity who has taken shelter of the holy lotus feet of the Lord. Kadarma Muni is special not because he was a great mystic, but because he was a great devotee. Therefore, it is said here that for a great devotee like Kadarma Muni, nothing is impossible. Although yogis can perform wonderful feats, as Kadarma has already displayed, Kadarma was more than a yogi because he was a great devotee of the Lord. Therefore, he was more glorious than an ordinary yogi, as it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Out of the many yogis, he who is a devotee of the Lord is first class. For a person like Kadarma Muni, there's no question of being conditioned. He was already a liberated soul, and better than the demigods who are also conditioned. Although he was enjoying with his wife and many other women, he was above material conditional life. Therefore, the word via sanata yaha is used to indicate that he was beyond the position of a conditioned soul. He was transcendental to all material limitations. So sometimes people ask the question that if Kadarma Muni was such an exalted soul, then why does he get involved in marriage, get involved in sex life, and now he's traveling throughout the whole universe in his nuptial flight, in having his honeymoon from one location to another location of the demigods. So why is Kadarma Muni engaged in sense gratification? So the answer is he was ordered. He was simply executing the order of Brahma. He's a Prajapati. Prajapati means those who are responsible for increasing the universal population. So therefore, as part of his duty, he had to engage in sex life in order to procreate. And so he is doing it as a matter of duty, not because he was attracted to it. He was doing it as a matter of duty. So he was still in his self-reliance position. He could see things as they are, but as a matter of duty, he also had to procreate, because without the 9 daughters that he created, the 9 sages that Brahma brought forth, Brahma created, could not have wives. So he had to play the role of a father-in-law to the 9 sages by producing beautiful daughters from his wife Devahuti. And then those girls became the wives of the 9 sages. And then from these 9 daughters, the whole universal population has come about. Actually, we all come from those 9 daughters of Kadarma Muni. All of us, the whole world, we all descendants of the 9 daughters of Kadarma Muni. So he did that as a matter of service, not because he wanted to enjoy his senses. So that should be understood. In text 43, it says, Prekshayitra buho gulam panyai yavan swasamstayaha bahu ascharyam mahayogi swasramaya nyavatataha. After showing his wife the globe of the universe and its different arrangements, full of many wonders, the great yogi Kadarma Muni returned to his own hermitage. So in the proportion of Prabhupada writes, all the planets are here described as gola, round. Every planet is round, and each planet is a different shelter, just like islands in a great ocean. Planets are sometimes called Dwipa or Varsha. This earth planet is called Bharadvasa because it was ruled by King Bharat. Another significant word used in this verse is Bahu Ashcharyam, many wonderful things. This indicates that the different planets are distributed all over the universe in 8 directions, and each and every one of them is wonderful in itself. Each planet has its particular climatic influences, and particular types of inhabitants, and is completely equipped with everything, including the beauty of the seasons. In the Brahma Samhita 5.40, it is similarly stated, Vibhutim Binam. In each and every planet, there are different opulences. It cannot be expected that one planet is exactly like another. By God's grace, by nature's law, each and every planet is made differently and has different wonderful features. All such wonders were personally experienced by Kadarma Muni while he traveled with his wife. Yet he could return again to his humble hermitage. He showed his princess wife that although he was living in the hermitage, he had the power to go everywhere and do anything by mystic yoga. That is the perfection of yoga. One cannot become a perfect yogi simply by showing some sitting postures, nor by such sitting postures or so-called meditation can one become God, as it is being advertised. Foolish persons are misled into believing that simply by some caricature of meditation and sitting postures, one can become God within 6 months. Here is an example of a perfect yogi. He could travel all over the universe. Similarly, there is a description of the Rasa Muni, who also traveled in space. Actually, the perfect yogi can do that. But even if one can travel all over the universe and show wonderful feats like Dharma Muni, he cannot be compared to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose power and inconceivable energy can never be attained by any conditioned or liberated soul. By the actions of Dharma Muni, we can understand that in spite of his immense mystic power, he remained a devotee of the Lord. That is the real position of every living entity. So after Dharma Muni had traveled to all these wonderful places, the heavenly gardens, spots, tourist spots of the demigods, and enjoyed with his wife for thousands of years actually, he returned to his humble hermitage. He did not forget his origin. After manifesting that grandeur aerial building that was flying throughout the whole universe and showing his wife everywhere in the universe, after all that, they came back to their humble hermitage. So here Prabhupada says, he did not forget his position as a devotee. He was not carried away by the beauty of these gardens, the demigod gardens that he visited. He was not carried away by even the sex life he got involved in. He was not carried away by sense gratification. He remembered his position as a servant of the Lord. And Prabhupada said that is the real position of every living entity, to remain a devotee. And so Dharma Muni, despite his powers, he still came back to his hermitage.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My battery may go off any moment, but I've made it finished, so it will come to you. We have about 6 minutes more, but then in case my battery goes off, you will be the
host. All right. So when I log out, everybody logs out.
Yeah, when you log out, everyone logs out.
Okay. All right.
But
okay.
Another 4 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to rush through so that we can finish this chapter. It goes to 48 or 49 or even up to 50. Wow. There's still verses up to 57. I was thinking.
Probably you can make me the host. So when Marat finish, I will end down. Just make me the host when you are going out.
Okay. So I don't think we can even finish. The verses are many. Maybe we have to still have a class on this next week, and then before we go to the next chapter. So we have only left with 5 minutes according to my time. So let's see how many verses we can read. I just read 43, right? He returned to his hermitage. 44 says, Vibhagya navadatmanam manavim sruto shukam raman niramayam reme varsapungam muhurtavat. After coming back to his hermitage, he divided himself into 9 personalities just to give pleasure to Devahuti, the daughter of Manu, who was eager for sex life. In that way, he enjoyed with her for many, many years, which passed just like a moment. The purport says, here the daughter of Sambhuva Manu Devahuti is described as Shurato Shuka. After traveling with her husband all over the universe, in Mount Meru and the beautiful gardens of the heavenly kingdoms, she naturally became sexually stimulated. And in order to satisfy her sexually, in order to satisfy her sexual desire, Kadarma Muni expanded himself into 9 forms. Instead of 1, he became 9, and 9 persons had sexual intercourse with Devahuti for many, many years. It is understood that the sexual appetite of a woman is 9 times greater than that of a man. That is clearly indicated here. Otherwise, Kadarma Muni would have had no reason to expand himself into 9. Here is another example of his yogic power. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead can expand himself in millions of forms, a yogi can also expand himself up to 9 forms, but not more than that. Another example is that of Shobhari Muni. He also expanded himself into 8 forms. But however powerful a yogi may be, he cannot expand himself into more than 8 or 9 forms. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, can expand himself into millions of forms, Ananta Rupam, innumerable countless forms, as stated in the Brahma Samhita. No one can compare to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any conceivable, energetic manifestation of power. So I think we'll end with this verse, but before we end, there's some important thing here that is mentioned, that Devahuti, then Swayambhuva Manu had to expand himself into 9 forms in order to satisfy the lust of his wife. And so it is mentioned here that the sexual appetite of a woman is 9 times greater than that of a man. In other words, women are not easily satisfied sexually. No, they are not easily satisfied sexually because their lust is 9 times. So you can imagine, anytime a man is feeling lusty, you should multiply that lust by 9. And then you can see how much the woman is feeling. Anytime we are feeling lusty, we should multiply it by 9 and see how the woman is feeling. That's how much they're feeling. And so Kadarma Muni had to expand himself into 9 forms in order to satisfy the lusty desires of Devahuti. And because of these 9 forms, she gave 9 seeds. Each of these forms gave a seed to Devahuti. So Devahuti brought forth 9 girls, 9 beautiful girls. And they became the wives of the 9 sages that Brahma created. So Prabhupada is saying here, that's another feat that the yogis can achieve, that they can accomplish, that he was able to expand himself into 9 forms. Then Prabhupada mentions the case of Shobhari Muni. Shobhari Muni also, he also expanded himself into 8 forms in order to marry the daughters of King Mandata. So,
Maharaj.
Yeah.
So the question is, those of us that doesn't have this yogic power, how do you satisfy the desire of our women?
You can't do it. that is the truth. You can't do it. You kill yourself if you want to do it. That's a fact. So you just do your best. That's all.
Hare Maharaj.
Yes.
Yeah, also there is this understanding, even though they have this 9 times energy, but they have the power to even control more than the men.
Yeah, that is also true. Yes. They can control. Actually, they are amazing class of people. Even though a woman is very lusty, but if a woman decides to remain celibate, she can easily do it than a man. If a woman shuts it down, say no more sex, that's it, it ends there. So they also have that ability to say no, and they just close the gate and finish. So in most cases, we see is the women who decide that, okay, no more sex in a family life. It's not the man who decides, it's the woman who say, hey, my husband, from today onwards, no more sex. And you have to agree because she has locked the gate, you can enter. Like that. So they have the ability, even though they're lusty, they're 9 times, but they also have the power to say no, and they will shut the gate, and that ends it. So it's true. They have both abilities.
Amara, that is why it's possible that if a husband and wife, let's say husband travel and woman go to another, it's easier for the woman to hold herself than the man that travel to another place to hold himself.
Well,
because they have
that
determination.
Is true. And that is true. They have the determination, but we have to, as men, we have to try, because we are supposed to be the party gurus. The man is called a party guru, husband guru. So as a husband guru, you have to show example. So if we always remember our duty, temptations will come. Nobody is free from temptation. Even our powerful sannyasins, they are not free from temptation. Some of their disciples are even tempting them. Like we see, it's there. And nobody is free from temptations, but one should resist the temptation. One should not succumb. Otherwise, then you cannot be an acharya again. The acharya has to teach by example. So as a party guru, as a husband, spiritual master, temptations will come. But we always have to remember that we have to show by example. And so we have to just cry out to Krishna, cry out to Guru to help us out when the temptations are very strong, so that we can get some support, some energy from Guru to withstand. So that is there. So I think one more thing here is that Prabhupada mentions before we close is that even if a yogi can expand himself unlimitedly, I mean, not unlimitedly, there's a limitation. 9 or 8 times a yogi can expand. But the Lord, the Supreme Lord, is Ananta Rupa. He is inconceivable. He can expand himself in innumerable ways, countless forms. And that makes the difference between the yogi and the Supreme Lord. No matter how great one may be a yogi, he cannot expand himself unlimitedly. No. But for the Supreme Lord, he can expand himself unlimitedly. And the example is always the Dwaraka Lila. When Krishna was kind of compelled to marry those 16,100 young girls that were captured by Narakasur, and Krishna liberated them, and they had nowhere to go. No man was ready to marry them. Krishna was compelled to accept them as his wives. And somebody might have been wondering how Krishna is going to handle these 16,100 queens. He already had 8 queens. How is he going to manage? But it's just a small thing for Krishna. It's a small job. Krishna simply expanded himself into 16,108 Krishnas to satisfy his wives. Prabhupada mentioned somewhere that Krishna could have married 16 billion wives. He could have married 16 trillion wives. He could have married 16 zillion wives. Actually, all the living entities are Krishna's wives. And Krishna has expanded himself as a super soul, and he is in the heart of everyone. So what is difficult for Krishna to do? Krishna can expand himself unlimitedly and marry unlimited wives, because he's the Yogeshwara. He's the master of all yogic powers. So there's nothing that is limiting Krishna. So I think on this note, we would bring the class to an end. 44. So we still have What is 4 to 15?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we still have some number of verses. So next week we'll see whether we can complete this before we begin at the last chapter. So if you are coming,
thank you very much. So please, we request all of the devotees to humbly unmute themselves and loudly chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to appreciate His Grace Srivas Vanacari for this wonderful class.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Pancha Karpata Rudya, Kripa Sindhya Sivascha Patitanam Pavashnedu, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vinde Jai, Grace Srivas Vanacari Ki Jai, Go Piminande.
Go.
Hare